Countdown to Kickoff Scouting Report.
All right, we're back here live here on Countdown to Kickoff. Anthony Calhoun alongside here with Kevin Boone. If you just joined us, the breaking news coming out of Nashville this morning. I know you've been all on your phone just moments there. It looks like Anthony Richardson is not going to play today. And Joe Flacco is going to get the start here for the Colts. I got to tell you, I'm very surprised by this move here. It looked like he was trending in the right direction. Take us through what you believe has appeared to happen here and what's this mean about this football team.
Yeah, and so Anthony will be the third quarterback today, so he will dress. So clearly he's good enough to do something. Now it would take an emergency situation. Both Joe Flacco and Sam Ehlinger are getting hurt for Richardson to go in the game, but I'm very surprised, AC. By all accounts, Colts players said in the locker room this week that they thought Anthony Richardson would be the starter. He practiced full on Thursday. If I have to go back, and hindsight's probably 2020, he was limited on Friday, so that was a little curious to me, but again, was that just kind of gamesmanship late in the week? And I was out there all 3 days of practice, AC. He looked normal. He looked full throttle. Anthony Richardson slinging it all over the field. You obviously see here him with Cam Turner, the quarterback's coach, pregame down there. So I just think it's a bummer. This is a great defense. It's on the road, a place Anthony Richardson hasn't started a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a great opportunity for him at a little bit less than 100% to play like quarterbacks have to play. 17-game season, you're not going to be 100% all the way through. You got to learn how to thrive in those moments.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You just said you're not going to be 100%. And I guess many Colts fans are probably wondering, like, okay, so when will you play, right?
Right. And I think his style, AC, is never going to lend him to be 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just how he is. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's going to take a lot of hits.
Yeah.
November, December, January, quarterbacks are not at that 100% threshold. So I think that is what is surprising to me as well. He's practiced 6 straight days. I thought last week he looked a lot more limited than he looked this week in practice. So very surprised by it.
Yeah,
and I just think it brings more questions into his availability label, which unfortunately has been a huge storyline here through his year and a half in the NFL.
We're taking some live look here at Anthony Richardson. If you're just joining us here, reports say he will not play today against the Titans. So Joe Flacco, the 39-year-old veteran who almost willed this team to a victory last week against the Jaguars, is set to start here today for the Colts. Right, so let's dive in real quick. We know that's the big story here with this matchup here today, but I want to ask you a bit about, let's talk offensively for the Titans here. We know they got a young quarterback in Will Levis, right?
Yeah, a very turnover-prone quarterback, and a quarterback that's dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder. So I think it's massive for the Colts with Gus Bradley's defense to do some things they don't usually do.
Yeah.
Play tighter coverage, tighten up those windows, force Will Levis to write checks that, frankly, he hasn't done here in his year plus in the NFL. So it's an opportunity to break out of this slump for the Colts defense. So I think that is critical. And certainly, AC, create more of a pass rush. I mean, it was library quiet against Jacksonville last week. You've got to affect the quarterback earlier in games, earlier in downs. That'll be paramount for the Colts.
Okay, but defensively, this defense is just outstanding here for the Titans. Well, they're not giving up over 200 yards a game when it comes to passing yards. That's incredible.
Yeah, very stout in a lot of areas, and they kind of overhauled so much of their defense this year with personnel. Obviously, new defensive coordinator with the new coaching staff down there. I will point out, the 4 quarterbacks they've faced, they're not a bunch of Pro Bowl guys. So that is something to note of Joe Flacco in that passing game vertically with Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs active. Those 2 will play today after some uncertain status during the week. Can you get that passing game going like you did in Jacksonville? So probably one of the tougher defensive tests, kind of right up there with Pittsburgh for the Colts so far this season.
Okay, we got to get your prediction. Who you like today?
Yeah, I'm going to go Colts. I'm going to stick with that 23-16 is kind of what I thought as the week trended along. Again, Pittman Jr. and Downs playing, I think is really important. Kenny Moore, Kwity Paye back as well.
Yeah.
2 guys that have missed each of the last couple of weeks. So I know the injury news with Richardson isn't great, but certainly the Colts are getting some guys back, whereas earlier in the week it looked a little up in the air.
Okay, stay right there, my man. We got more here with Kevin here on Countdown to Kickoff. We're going to take a break. But coming up next here, and we'll make our picks, of course, and who we think will win today's game along with Kevin here.